Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Vermont Wild Kitchen. We are going to start off tonight's show with a little preview about what to expect.
All right. Hi, folks. Thank you for joining us in the Vermont Wild Kitchen.
Usually this time of year, we would be doing cooking seminars like this live.
The ramps come up during the springtime, and you can find them under deciduous trees, and they really like that full sunlight in the spring when the leaves aren't out.
This is a rear shank, so it came off one of the rear legs. Down here would be the bone that goes to the hoof, and then up here the rest of the leg.
This is my favorite part of any fish, is the cheek. It is just tender, sweet, succulent. It's the best bite. I'll take that over a loin, a belly, a tail any day. And there's a shame there's only two of them, and they're so small on a fish.
Here's an example. There is this really beautiful brick red mushroom with this really gorgeous gloss and white all along the edge.
What we're really trying to do here is just bring you into our kitchens and show you just how easy and just how delicious it can be to not only cook with wild ingredients, but also pair those up with the farm fresh ingredients that can be found throughout Vermont.
My wife's like, "What'd you do?" After 6 months of these changes that are happening, she says, "I want to do."
So, welcome, everyone. So glad to have you here with us tonight. My name is Shelby Gerard, and I'm the development director at Rural Vermont. We're one of the co-presenters of the Vermont Wild Kitchen, along with the Vermont Fish and Wildlife Department. I'm guest hosting tonight because our regular host, Shane Rogers, is on a little summer break. Really glad to have the opportunity to be here with our guest chef tonight, Jeetan Khadka. Thank you, Jeetan. It's great to see you and have you here with us. Want to introduce folks a little bit to the Vermont Wild Kitchen before we get into the nitty-gritty and get to know Jeetan a little bit better and learn about some delicious foods that he's going to cook up before us. First off, I apologize in advance for any technical glitches that may or may not occur over the course of the show or may have already occurred. We're sorting this out as we go and appreciate your patience with us here. So Vermont Wild Kitchen, this is a monthly virtual program. Like I said, it's a partnership between Rural Vermont and the Vermont Fish and Wildlife Department. The idea behind the show is to really showcase and celebrate all the many different foods that are available around our state here in Vermont in all the different locations. So the wild locations, thinking about rivers and streams and woods, even roadsides when you're thinking about foraging, and also all of the cultivated farm foods that are available through the many farms that exist throughout Vermont, homesteads, even our backyards, those of us who are growing our own foods. We want to showcase all of these things. Some programs, we put them on the same plate even, and just share how to access them and make all of these foods a little bit more widely available and familiarize folks with the products that might be a little less familiar. Also gives us the opportunity to chat with chefs from all over the state and food producers and hunters, foragers, etc., about a lot of the issues that intersect and overlap between the wild and cultivated sorts of worlds. And this includes things like food security, food sovereignty, land equity and access, conservation, and much more. If you'd like to learn more about rural Vermont, you can check out our website. I believe it's a link to it's in the chat, or you'll find one there soon. Same goes for the Vermont Fish and Wildlife Department. Lots of great educational programming and opportunities there. Also want to recognize King Arthur baking company, which sponsors the Vermont Wild Kitchen and makes it easier for us to support bringing folks into the show and into your kitchens. And their website will be in the chat, and you can check them out and see all they have to offer. We've also got plenty of past episodes of the Vermont Wild Kitchen. The show has been ongoing for a few years now. From rural Vermont has started to participate as of about a year ago. And you can find all of the past episodes on our YouTube playlist. Lots of options if you're looking for how to cut up a chicken, you can find an episode there. Or if you're interested to learn more about deer hunting, you can find an episode about venison there. Lots of fishing episodes, and you can probably find anything you need. We've got a chat going on, as you have probably noticed. And if you've got questions or you'd like more information or resources, you've got stories to share or recipes, we welcome your comments there. We'd love to hear from you. So all of that said, I am going to introduce you all to Jeetan Khadka, who is coming to us from a kitchen up in Burlington. And Jeetan would love to have you introduce yourself and give us a little taste of what we're going to be exploring tonight.
So thank you, Selvi. Can you guys hear me well?
Perfect.
Selvi, can you hear me? Fine?
Yes, I can.
Awesome, great. Hi, everybody. My name is Jeetan Khadka. I currently live in Essex, Junction. Been living there for 5-6 years, but been in Vermont for almost 14 years now. Me and my family came to Vermont back in 2008 from a refugee camp in Nepal, and we instantly got connected to Vermont since the day we got here. So it's kind of like it's my, I think I always say Vermont adopted me, so I'm not going anywhere. So currently I am at Burlington, and I'm working at AALV with former refugees and immigrants. And right now I'm using the kitchen right in our office, which is run through Burlington Parks and Rec. There's a big kitchen here, which anybody can rent in the community if you are looking to do any kind of catering, any events. There's an event hall here as well. So today I will be making a goat curry. I don't know how popular it is in Vermont, but it's our one of the staple meats that we eat in Nepal. Also, to pair with that, I'll be making a spicy cucumber salad, and also we'll have some rice to go with that. So, should we start now, Selvi?
Let's go for it.
Awesome, great. All right, so I do have a recipe that's written there. So if you would like to follow along, you can do that. And if you have any questions, you can feel free to ask in the comment section. I'll be, a lot of this by cooking is mostly, I don't really measure things. I just do it just by looking at it, by the feel, by the look of the dish. So first we're gonna make goat curry, and I'm going to start by heating up the pot. I'm using this a small size pot right now because we're not gonna make a lot of goat. I'm using about 2.5 pound of goat meat, which is freshly slaughtered from the farm in Vermont. There are a few farms that are owned by former refugees from Nepal, Bhutan, and we go there and get our own goats. So every couple months I go and slaughter my own goat, so I know where my food is coming from, and that's how we do it. So I love it, and being able to do that in Vermont, that means a lot, and that's, I think, one of the reasons that keeps me in Vermont. So I just heated up my pot here. So I'm going to start by adding a cooking oil. You can use any kind of cooking oil. I'm using corn oil here. So I'm adding about 4 tablespoons, 2 ounces of oil to start. And I'll just quickly give a little bit of rinse around so that when I put my meat, it doesn't stick, you know. So just give it a couple minutes so that until the oil heats up.
Ethan, you mentioned slaughtering goats, and I'd love to have you share with our listeners a little bit more about your backstory there.
Sure, definitely. I'll be happy to do that. I mean, here it's pretty, systematically done. You know, there is procedure, things that you need to follow, and I mean, where we come from, we just slaughter outside in open air. There's no regulation, but here we do have, like, I think, structured slaughterhouse at the farm where we go to. There's one in Pine Island. There's a Pine Island farm in Winooski, close to Winooski, Colchester, where most of the community go to get their goat. I'm gonna turn the heat a little low. But everything is done very, following all the rules and regulations. I don't slaughter it myself. I just pick the goat, and they do everything for me, and it's ready to pick up. I like to watch it though. I just being there and just to see how they do it, or I can tell them how to cut certain pieces. So like for my own personal, choices. So that's how we do. But back home, it's quite different. I can tell you more story later on. But let's get going here. So I think the oil is heated up now, and as per the recipe, what I do is I like to start off by heating the oil, and then there are a couple ingredients that I put. There are cloves, there is cardamom, there is fenugreek seed, cumin seed, and bay leaves, which I toast at the beginning just to get the aroma out and get that herbs, kind of like season the pot with the herbs at the beginning. So I think the oil is ready now. So I'm gonna toast this herbs here and throw in the bay leaf. Put the heat down a little bit. I don't want to burn it. I just want to give it a little nice brown, color. So that's it. It's ready. So right after that, I'm going to add the goat right in here. So this is a skin-on goat that we got it from the farm in Pine Island Farm. I can tell you the different ways we like the goat to cut, but this one is skin is burned, the hair is burned and then cleaned. So it comes with the skin on. So now I'm gonna throw this meat into the pot. Give it a stir.
Is that a particular cut of meat that you're using?
Can you repeat that?
Is that a particular cut of goat that you're using?
So the way can you see it there? Okay. All right.
Yes.
Perfect. So this is it's pretty much where we do it. We do we don't separate the meat in a different, like a fillet or ribs. So literally, if I get a goat, I cut it into the whole goat into small cubes. The idea is that when you're eating it, you're like, wow, is that a tendon, or is that a like a ribs, or is that a fat from the chest, or because you want to feel that different texture of meat when you eat it. So that's the way we do it. So we try to keep some meat with the bone, so that when you're eating it, you're not just chewing the bone, but there's some meat to chew on it.
Mm.
So right now I have it's pretty much every part of the meat. Some little bit of leg, little bit of ribs, little bit of head. All of it.
Right. No waste.
No waste. We don't waste anything.
Every part has value.
Yep.
Must make it easier to cook with too. More versatile. You can use any of it in every dish.
So right after I added the goat, after toasting those herbs, I don't want to add all the spices at the beginning. The point is, if you add all the spices, it burns quicker, so that the meat does not get enough time to cook properly. So at the beginning, I just cook it with some salt and turmeric. So now I c- add some salt. I mean, later on we can taste and add more, but I'm gonna throw in like maybe a tablespoon of salt to start with now, and a tablespoon of turmeric powder. Uh, I mean, you all know it. You know, turmeric has a lot of good health benefit as well. You know, it gives a nice color to the dish.
Jeetan, we have a question for you in the comments, and this actually comes from Rural Vermont's policy director, Caroline. And she's wondering if the method that Pine Island is using for for butchering allows the entire goat to be butchered with a simple knife, as opposed to needing a saw and any other equipment.
I didn't quite understand that question. Could you repeat that?
Yeah, sure. So she's wondering if the way in which Pine Island is slaughtering and butchering goat for you,
Yeah.
does it allow for that entire process to happen with a knife, with just a knife, and not requiring a saw
Oh,
or heavier?
so they do use different tools and to cut different part of the meat, and also they have a big giant industrial electric saw that they use to cut them into small pieces. So you can tell them what size pieces do you want, or if you want them to put the leg piece in one bag, or the ribs in one bag. They do that as well, but they do use different tools to do the slaughter.
It's really nice that you have so much input around how it's cut. Not
Oh,
something
I think that's number one reason I think people like it, because they get to choose the way they want, way they want the meat to be,
that's great.
So we're gonna keep this process for another 8 to 10 minutes, just to kind of like shallow fry it a little bit to give the outside of the meat more crunchier, more crunchier texture. Because I could just literally boil the meat and then eat it, but there's different texture in it when you do it this way, because the first cup, like 10-15 minutes, you're frying it with a little bit of little spices, and later on we keep adding more.
Nice. What other ways do you enjoy cooking goat meat?
Oh, barbecue is a very very good way to do that as well. We like making kebab, goat kebab, and even just simple grill, like on a charcoal, simple seasoning, not putting too much of seasoning. It just salt and a little bit of turmeric, paprika, ginger, garlic paste, marinate over a couple hours. Just you can grill it on the charcoal grill. It tastes so good. I'm slaughtering. I'm going to slaughter the other goat this Friday, uh, which is very big. It's like very big goat. That's for me and my grandparents and my uncle. So usually we share, like I don't want to take the whole goat. I don't want to keep it in the freezer for like months. So what we do is we like team up and go and get a goat, and everybody, you know, take some home.
Yeah, and that must be a castrated male goat that you are.
That's correct. Yeah. So in Nepal, I think it's very common to eat mostly castrated male goat. Female, I mean, people do eat female goats and stuff, but mostly for meat purposes. Even if you go to the butcher shop, most of the butcher shops sell castrated male goats.
Just prior to this show, Jeetan had very delicately pointed out that the graphics that we've been using to promote this episode very clearly depicted a female goat, and he shared with us that this is not what is the ideal sort of choice for this dish and most others.
That's correct. That's right.
And you're using, you said turmeric was one of the important spices in there?
So so mostly like, if you're making any curries, I think it's commonly used spices and the curries are, turmeric, cumin seeds, cumin powder, fenugreek. Garam masala has a mixture of spices. Some of the spices that I'm using here separately, it also it's in garam masala. So, you can even just rely on just using freshly ground cumin and garam masala with turmeric and paprika, ginger, garlic paste. Like I like fresh ginger garlic paste. That just makes dish come to life and more flavorful, more fragrant. So yeah. Uh,
And if you're using that spice combination, then does the protein become fairly interchangeable? Is it easy enough to switch in other sorts of meats for goat?
oh yes, you can use that same recipe for goat curry to make chicken curry, or you can even do venison or any kind of I mean, there is a like if you're eating fish curry, people tend to do a little differently because they want to, enjoy it as a fish curry. So they don't want to have the text like the feel of eating a goat curry. Like the spices that you use. So people tend to change a couple things here and there. Don't put this one or put this one a little more. So you could do that, but it's very simple. I think the curry is one of the easiest dish to make in in the whole world. I think and you can make anything curry. Just give me something, I'll make curry for you.
You're making it look very easy and look very tasty too.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna give it a little more stir. I think the meat is looking a little more red now. Getting a little toasted on all ends, all side of the meat. So
Great. And you had mentioned sharing an animal with your family, and had also shared a story with us earlier about your grandfather. I believe it was your grandfather. Do you want to clue folks in to that little historical tidbit?
oh sure, definitely. So I think I grew up, even though I come from a refugee background, we always, grew up around, in a farm and animals and, raising couple goats and chickens every, like just for your own personal consumption. So, my grandfather was a kind of like a village butcher man. He was a milkman in the morning. He would go get a milk from all different, uh, you know, um, uh, uh, villagers who had one or two milking cows, and they usually sell their milk after taking some for themselves. So my grandfather would gather all the milk in the morning, like 3 4 a.m. in the morning, and in the morning people would come and buy like a pouch of milk, for tea or coffee in the morning. And evening time, we would go and look for goats. So I would go with him. I remember I was like 9 or 10, helping him butcher the goat, holding the leg while he does slaughtering and everything. So, I just grew up around that. And as I said, like being able to do that here, that means a lot. And also, it means a lot for my grandparents too. They're still here. They live in Burlington. And every couple of months, he goes to the farm and picks the goat. He doesn't do a slaughter anymore or anything like that. He's getting old, but he picks the goat and just tell us to go that day, and then we just go down there and do the slaughtering and bring the goat home.
That's really sweet and keeps you all connected to your traditions and homeland. And we do have a link for Pine Island Farm for folks who'd like to learn more about what they do. It's a up in Chittenden. I'm sorry, Colchester, I believe, right, Jeetan?
Yeah, it's near Maz's farm, like by the Barnett's Bay Avenue. If you're going down the Marlets Bay Avenue towards Lake Champlain, it's right there. It's very close to, very close to communities. People can just get there. It's not that far. Winooski, Burlington is very densely populated by immigrant population. So being able to just go there and get the meat is very convenient for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a really great service that's being offered. And there's a few other farms who are doing some really great work around making more culturally appropriate foods available to the various communities in the greater Burlington area. And one of those is called the People's Farm Stand, which is based in Burlington. I'm not sure if you're familiar with them, Jeetan, but one of our Rural Vermont's board members, Nora Elmendulzi, is involved in. It's a pop-up farm stand that happens once a week, and they grow and sort of solicit foods that are culturally appropriate to various folks who are living, new Americans who are living in the Burlington area, and make those foods available to folks for whatever they can or are willing to offer. So, and they have a really great Instagram account that Nicole, our behind the scenes magic maker, can put into the comment box. And speaking of Instagram, we should also make mention of Jeetan's Instagram. We encourage folks to check that out and all of the recipes and food photos and stories that come through that. And I also want to mention that this is not the first time that Jeetan's been cooking on YouTube. There's a whole slew of past episodes. Do you want to talk more about your program?
So it's not a program. I do like to cook, as I said, all the time. And when I'm at home, mostly during the pandemic, I was home most of the time. So had a lot of free time. So I would just sit down and record myself making different dishes. I have posted on YouTube, but it's not, it's not on a lot. I haven't done lately, but I would love to do more. I love cooking, and I was in a food scene for quite a long time, 5-6 years in Essex. I had a restaurant, so I was always like around food. So, but now it's a little different. I would love to do more, but if you would like to subscribe there, you can do that, and maybe hope for more videos to come, which I might post later on. All right, so I think I'm gonna bring the camera a little closer here. Can you see it now?
Yeah, that looks great.
So this is like when you start seeing that oil coming out more. That's about time what you can add more other ingredients, because even if you look at the meat, it's turning golden brown, like giving a nice crunchy texture. And also all that turmeric and the salt has got infused into the meat a little more. So now I'm going to add. Let me hold this stand low. Okay.
Such a beautiful color.
Looks good?
It looks delicious.
All right.
Beautiful.
So now I'm going to add my other stuff. I got some red onions chopped up with this red. This is very, very spicy. We call it dalde korsani, which is I think it has a, what do you call that? The spice content of 100,000 to 350,000. So there could be various level of spices, but this is very spicy, like really, really spicy. So I'm just gonna use 2, and this meat's going home, so my family's gonna eat it later, so they don't mind spice. So I am gonna throw in 1 medium-sized onion and 2 red chili.
Were those whole chilies? I didn't quite catch that.
So did you say whole chili?
Yeah, or they were. Did they have the seeds? And
Okay, seeds. Yeah, this is what it looks like.
Okay, got it.
It's like a habanero, but this is
Habanero?
this seed is from Nepal. So we grow it in my house. I have a bunch of plants at my home, and also wanted to mention that there is a farm down at the Ethan Allen Intervale, which we also grow there. I have a plot there. My grandparents have a plot there. So we grow vegetables every summer there.
Hmm. That's at the New Farms for New Americans
Yeah,
Gardens.
that's New Farm for New Americans. Yeah, that's one of the programs that our office, I work at the same office here as a case manager. So that's one of the programs that we run here for New American communities, trying to help people connect back to the land. And, most of the folks are, before they come to this country, they were farmers or were involved in some kind of farming activities. So being able to do that is it's a game changer for a lot of people. It's good for their mental health, good for their physical health and everything.
Absolutely. Yeah, we were really lucky to spend some time in the gardens there last September when Rural Vermont partnered with the AALV and New Farms for New Americans in hosting an event that brought policymakers to the farms to talk to the folks who are farming there about their unique challenges and needs. And Jeetan was there as one of the translators, and
Yeah, I
yeah,
remember that. Thanks for coming. Thanks for taking interest in interest in the communities, different community in Vermont. And actually, that means a lot, and that means a commitment, from the state and the policymakers and everybody.
we were really honored to be part of that. That is looking so delicious.
I wish you guys could be here to smell that. It
Yeah,
smells good. I
I
haven't
was,
even added any other spices. It's just the few ingredients. So I still got a bunch of other things to add. So
yeah. I think that's the one drawback, or one of the drawbacks to the show, is not getting the scents, not being able to share those out with the world.
So I'm going to add this is the ginger garlic paste. I ground it myself. It's freshly ground, and so it's like a one loaded teaspoon.
Mm. Do you do that in batches and preserve it or freeze it, or how
No,
long does that last?
I don't know. We usually do it when we're cooking right at that time.
Mm-hmm.
So I use mortar and pestle just to smash it and put it. But we don't make it in a bag because you lose it just lose the fragments. You don't want to do that. Just it takes quick like a minute or two to do it.
Fresh is best.
Also, one thing to know, like when you're doing goat, and if you're doing it this way, the way I'm doing it right now, uh, it has fat, so you don't want to add too much oil at the beginning. That's why I started with like a 2 ounce of oil. Given that I had 2.5 pounds of meat, and this goat that I cooked right now had a skin on, like with a lot of fat in them. So that's why. Later, if you find like it's too oily or greasy, you can always take some oil out. But for now, it looks okay.
Looks more than okay from where I'm sitting. Looks great.
All right. So, I also timing wise, are we good?
We are looking great. We've
Okay.
got about 25 minutes left.
And also about goat is, depends on how old the goat is. The meats are tougher and it takes longer to cook. So if it's very, very old goats and you don't want to, you want it quickly done, then doing it in a pressure cooker is easier. We do use pressure cooker at home all the time. I do this part. I add all the spices and I throw in some water and I put the turn on the pressure cooker and put the lid on. And after a couple whistle, it will be all cooked. It will be way faster than this way.
Mm,
But this is the best way.
yeah. I'm one of those people that has a pressure cooker and I've used it once. It kind of scares me. and I prefer to cook on the stovetop anyway. Yum. How would you describe the texture of goat, or even just the flavor to someone who hasn't had it before?
Goat does have a very distinct smell. I mean, a lot of times that kicks people off. That's why they say, "Oh, I don't like goat." It smells different, funky. But I don't know how to describe it. It's honestly, I don't know how to tell you.
So people just need to get out and try it themselves.
Yep.
And it sounds like there are options. And it is the case, unfortunately, that a lot of, I know that you're in connection with a smaller slaughterhouse, a custom slaughterhouse that provides goat to folks seeking it out. It's not, unfortunately, the case that most of the larger slaughterhouses, state inspected and USDA inspected, even take goats, small ruminants. They're more focused on the larger animals. You might need to do some work to find an option, but they do exist.
You can also buy at a lot of ethnic groceries if you come down to Burlington. So mostly even some of the Nepali grocery stores or Indian Nepali grocery stores, they go to that slaughterhouse and buy the goats, or they get it from other parts of the state sometime, New Jersey and stuff. At the beginning when I first came, I was very disappointed with the quality of the goat that I found at the store. And later I realized those were all the goats that was coming from Australia, and all the frozen goats, I don't know how long they've been there, frozen.
Yep.
And the meat does not taste that good. It does not taste as good as having a fresh meat. So we struggle at the beginning trying to find. So, after some time, we were figure out, you can go on a Craigslist and there's farmers who post, I'm selling my goat, and we would arrange a way to get it to the slaughter home, and they would tell us to go there and pick it up. We pay them. So that's how we did it, early on. But now we have farm nearby. It makes it a whole lot easier.
That's great.
So
there's a question. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Okay, go ahead.
I was just going to say there's a question in the comments wondering, backtracking a little bit here, but whether or not goat and lamb are sort of comparable in terms of flavor.
They are actually the meat texture wise. The certain part of the goat meat matches with the lamb or sheep. It is kind of similar. I think they fall in the similar type of meat.
Good
So
to know.
now I would, because we do have a very short time, and I need to make another cucumber salad. So I'm going to go to our number 4. It's time to add the ground cumin and nutmeg. I don't know how familiar you guys are with nutmeg, paprika, and garam masala. So I ground this myself, the freshly ground cumin seed, with the nutmeg, because those are round nutmeg. It was whole nutmeg. Usually nutmeg helps make the meat softer. It has certain qualities that makes meat more tender. But too much is not good. It's gonna kind of take over the flavor and the flavor of the meat. But just putting maybe half of the whole nutmeg would be just fine. So right now, just there's a nutmeg and cumin. I'm going to add a garam masala, which I just got it from the store. You can, find at any in Nepali stores around. I'm going to mix that here. Just put it down here.
That's a great tip about nutmeg. I don't often think of nutmeg having any use in savory dishes. So
And
that's news to me.
I added a teaspoon of paprika just for the color. And I'm going to add some water just to stir it a little bit. So just to repeat, we have a freshly ground cumin seed, half a whole of nutmeg, garam masala, a teaspoon of garam masala, and teaspoon of paprika. So now I'm going to turn the heat a little higher and put this right here, mixer in the curry, and give it a stir.
Love that sizzle. What kind of rice will you serve this with?
I am doing basmati rice, the kind that you can get at Costco's in those bags. It says Royal Basmati. The color is already rich and it's looking beautiful.
Yes,
you
it
can
is.
see. Oops, my camera is. Oh, let me get that tightened up.
It looks so great.
Okay. So what I'm gonna do is keep it at little medium to low heat, and I'll cover it just to give it a little, so that it can cook a little bit.
Yum. And the cucumber salad that you're making tonight, are those some veggies that you've grown in your plot, in your garden?
Yes, actually, yeah, cucumber and some tomatoes. I'll be mixing it with the tomatoes. It will more look like a salsa style, when you like more like a Mexican salsa style, cucumber, tomatoes, and red onion. I will be using some fresh lime just to give that, tangy flavor. It just makes it better when you're eating it pairing it with a goat curry on the side, with little tangy, limey, cucumber, spicy. It just makes the whole dish, it finds the balance right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Spicy and cool. That's one of my favorite combos. Yum.
All right, so I think what we have to do now would be add tomatoes. I am going to cut the tomatoes now. I did not got time to do it earlier, so I'm putting two medium-sized tomatoes, round tomatoes.
Mm-hmm.
You can cut them and slice them, or cut them in dice pieces, whatever you prefer.
And we'll just enjoy watching your curry simmer away. We'll all drool. Jeetan, I'm curious, you were talking about your grandfather collecting milk from area folks. Lovely looking tomato. And that your family ate a lot of goat and still does. But dairy-wise, you mentioned cow's milk. So is goat's milk a thing in Nepal, or is it mostly cows for dairy?
Mostly cow.
Mostly
cow and water buffaloes.
Water buffalo. Oh, interesting.
Yeah. The buffalo's milk were a little expensive than the cow milk. Maybe they're more richer, or maybe more, why? But we used to also get. There aren't a lot, but there are some few water buffaloes around, and they will sell buffalo milk as well.
Interesting. There was a water buffalo farm in Woodstock, Vermont, for a number of years.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, they weren't selling milk; they made yogurt. But they've since, I think, they moved up to Canada. I'm not sure.
So I'll give it another couple, maybe a minute or two to simmer it, and then the next step would be to add more gravy. Right now, it's okay, but excuse me. If you're eating it with the rice, you want a little bit of gravy on the side to go with the rice, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So give me 1 second, all right?
Of course. Yeah, every meal's made better, I think, with gravy and sauce and things to sop up. We've got another question for you when you're recovered.
Yeah, you can go ahead.
Okay, so question about buffalo mozzarella. Given that water buffaloes are popular dairy fare in Nepal, is buffalo mozzarella? Does it have origins there? Do you know?
I have never tried buffalo mozzarella. I don't know because it's not common in Nepal. So you're talking about the mozzarella sticks, right?
I'm sorry, say that again.
Are you talking about the mozzarella sticks that you eat like a cheese type?
Maybe. I'm not sure what our question asker intended.
Okay.
Maybe
I don't
she'll
think we
add.
Yeah. So one other tip that I would like to give, right now I'm about to add little water in it. So after we add the water, we'll let it cook for 10-15 minutes. So when then we that time we'll be making the spicy cucumber salad. For the mix, as you can see, this is a little white, right? You might wonder what it is, but this is a water that I use for after washing the rice. Usually, when you're rinsing the rice, the water contains a lot of nutrient and starch that can be used on the curry to make the curry gravy a little more thicker and also flavorful. So I usually wash the first batch of water and rinse the water away, and then second, I leave the water. I soak the rice for 5 to 10 minutes, you know, and I give it a nice rub, and then I save that water to put it as a gravy at the end. So right now I'm going to pour that in right here.
Nice. And so will you cook some of that liquid down, or are you looking for a more
Yeah. It will dry out a little bit because I'm gonna put it in a high heat now and let it cook for 10-15 minutes. I'll be checking occasionally just to give it a little stir, but we're kind of towards the end now, so this is I don't have to add anything more. This is it. Maybe salt, after tasting, let's do the taste. Because I added a little water, so maybe just to balance it. Oh, it's perfect.
I wish we could sample right along with you. It looks perfect.
Great. All right, let's get this going here now, and I'm going to move towards cucumber salad now.
All right, great. We've got 11 minutes left.
11 minutes?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we can get it. I think we can
Speed
get
slicing?
that. Yep. All right.
And are you using slicing cucumbers, or are they pickling? They look like slicers.
Yeah, those are slicers. I'm gonna dice them, make it small dice pieces.
Are there particular varieties that you enjoy?
I like the pickling cucumber, like little tiny ones, because they taste really good, raw. But there is a type of cucumber that only grows in the mountains of Nepal, and they are like yellow in color, and their outer skin is very tough. and we even make a kind of like a pickle cucumber, like a small diced spicy pickled cucumber. It's really good.
They grow wild in the mountains?
Oh no, people grow
Oh.
it in their
Okay.
in their houses.
Well, I suppose you can really pickle anything. I have fun with that in the summertime.
Yeah.
We go through so many cucumbers in our household. It's like the only thing that everyone agrees on.
Yeah, cucumbers are great. They have a
Yeah,
lot of water content, and in a hot summer day, just eating just raw cucumber, it's like
Yep.
eating watermelon.
Exactly. That's what I was just thinking.
Yeah, I
Nothing
usually
better.
go whenever I go water my vegetables, I just grab bunch and just eat right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my kids are always with a whole cucumber in their hand. They just eat them like a carrot.
So I'm gonna put a tomato in there too. You can add anything like other things like you can even do radish, daikon radish or turnips and uh, other vegetables.
Did you say
With
turnips?
turnip, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Some of them has a little spiciness to it. Some of those turnips are daikon radish. It just it just gives a different texture and taste. We do use a lot of red onions, white onions, those colossal onions and stuff, but we don't use them much. It's mostly red onions. I'll be
It's
putting
always my
some red
preference
onions.
too. And you place this salad next to your curry, or do you put it on top?
You could put it on the side. You can just it's kind of like a tongue, like a palate cleanser type. Like you
Mm-hmm.
want a little because after eating goat, you don't, you want a little bit of, you know, um,
Something lighter.
palate cleanser, yeah, something lighter. So you can mix it with the curry on the side. You can do that, or you can just eat it as a side dish.
Seems like a perfect
So,
dish for this particular day.
yeah.
Ooh,
All right.
lovely
I
medley of
got.
colors there.
I'm gonna quickly. So for the seasoning, not a lot of stuff. I'm gonna do a cumin, like a teaspoon, half a teaspoon, and I have that red chili to make it a little spicy, and some salt. So if you're grinding any spices, and if you add a little bit of salt, it helps to grind it faster. It's
Oh,
a trick
that's a good tip.
because salt is very it's kind of
Granular.
yeah, the texture.
Yeah, like little
So
rocks.
yeah.
What kind of salt are you using?
This is oh, I don't know. What's the
You know,
name? the what do you call that thing? Oh, sorry.
is it there? So like, there's the flaky salt and the larger sort of, or the rock. I don't know what they're
Yeah,
called either. I should.
this is not too flaky. This is the one that you can buy at Costco. I don't know
Yeah,
if that house
the standard,
the standard.
the standard sea salt.
Okay, so it's kind of nicely ground. So now all I'm going to do is squeeze the lemon, lime
Lemon and
right on
lime.
the top. And I've got the spoon here. I'm going to stir. I'll put it right. And I got some chopped cilantro.
That is my favorite herb.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we use a lot of cilantro. It's very common in Nepali cooking.
Mm.
Also, we like we make a lot of soup, like noodle dishes. Given that we are very close to China, and there's a lot of Chinese influence in a lot of the cooking, like dumplings and noodle soup and chow mein, lo mein. Those are very common street food in Nepal.
Yum.
So I'm about to clean my palate now. Give it a taste. Mm. Perfect.
And so quick and easy.
Yeah, it's very quick. Let's check on our goals here.
It's looking good.
How much time do we have now?
Now we have 4 minutes.
4 minutes. As you can see, the gravies are getting way thicker. You remember earlier we had a lot of water. Now it's a thick gravy, like you can see right here. There's a lot of spices and just the starch from that rice water.
Yeah, that's such a nice alternative to using cornstarch or flour.
Right. And you don't have to buy them because that's something that you waste, when you wash your rice.
Exactly. It's kind of like when you make cheese and you end up with a lot of whey. There's so many, it usually ends up down the drain, but there's so many different ways to use it.
Perfect. I'm going to add a cilantro now. I don't add it at the beginning because it's just the aroma is going to go if you cook it. Because this needs to be green and,
Yeah,
fresh.
I've never used cilantro when I cooked it.
So I think it should be ready. Do
we get to watch you eat it so we can have drool from home?
So I'm gonna plate it quickly, and then we'll have a last minute thought. If there's any question, I'll be happy to answer.
Great. And you'll bring this home for your family to eat tonight, nice and hot?
Actually, they are right here watching me from the outside the window. My 2 boys are here because they had a vaccine upstairs because we run a vaccine clinic here.
Oh, I see.
So we're gonna probably go out for a walk to the lakefront and go home.
Oh, so sweet.
So I got some rice.
Nice.
So I'm gonna put in some food on the side. Like that. And salad goes.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
Ready to be served.
Yum. I wish it was being served to me. Maybe some other.
Can I send it through FedEx?
I don't know how well it would do. But
So I think it should be all done. Let me give it a taste and I can give my signature approved by Jeetan. Perfect.
You've done well?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
This is something that I would serve my customers. So I think we're done.
Thoroughly enjoyed it. Thank you so much, Jeetan. This was really fun to watch you cook and hear more about your story, and glad that this will be captured now for folks to come back to and for it to be shared. There's some comments here that I want to pass along. Lots of people saying thank you and having much appreciation for you having shared this dish. Excited to go back and create it. Yeah, this was so nice. So thank you very much for joining us in the Vermont Wild Kitchen. Anything else you want to say? Thanks
for having me here, and I would love to be back in future. Maybe we can make something else, or if people have any questions, they can even message me on Instagram or something. If they have any kind of food related or anything of sort. If you have a goat and you're a farmer and you want to sell your goat, you can even reach out to me. I would love to
let them know.
buy buy from you.
That's great. Well, thank you very much. Enjoy your goat curry and spicy cucumber salad. And we'll see everyone next time. Please join us for our September episode in the Vermont Wild Kitchen. Thanks again, Jeetan.
Thank you.